Hi, my name's Patrick. This is my 1966 Chevy pickup, and you're watching my truck restoration blog. So on my blog, I've mentioned that I was thinking of switching over to a more video format blog. This is kind of a test to see how all that's going to work. This evening I'm going to be working on the Fender that was right here. It's back here right now. This is not the correct Fender for the truck. It came off of the 68. I do have the correct Fenders here, and I actually have another set on the back porch. But we're going to be practicing on these 68 Fenders. So let's see what we've got. So here's what it looks like over on the passenger side, where I haven't dismantled it yet. On the driver's side, this entire area up in here was completely rotted away at one time, and somebody, whoever had done the work on this truck last, had filled it up with Bondo. Not a good fix. It was just rusting away underneath and started to bubble through, and it looked a little bit like this bubbling that you see right here. There's a lot of that on this truck, but that's going to have to wait for another video. So here's the fender that came off the truck. As you can see, the step used to go right here, and all this has been rotted away. Now what we're going to be doing is we're going to clear all this back to bare metal, see just how bad it is, and we're going to be cutting it off. Well, we'll see how bad it is. We'll decide how far we have to cut back. And then we'll be making a patch panel to fill this segment in. So here's a shot from it from the inside. Again, the step goes, forward here, and this is just the inside view of that fender. As you can see, also at one time I started stripping the paint off using a chemical stripper. We're gonna want to smooth that down, but we'll do that after we do the rust repair. So stay tuned. So what I've got here is my electric angle grinder with the cup wheel attachment on it. Did I plug that in? Yes, I did. I'm a fan of these. A quick word about these. If you buy these, the cheap ones at Harbor Freight, they may not be as balanced as well as maybe more expensive. This one happens to be a DeWalt, so you got a name brand there. And that'll give you a lot of extra vibration in your tool. So, if you're using a wire wheel, I would say do yourself a favor and go for the slightly better quality one. That'll work better. Getting down to the bare metal, you see we've got some rust, we've got some holes, but actually a lot of this doesn't look to be in too bad of a shape, so I may not have to take it back as far up as I feared, but we'll know more when we get into the backside. Another word worth noting, this thing is throwing off a lot of dust, so you may want to, if you're doing something like this, don't be lazy, go ahead and get the eye protection. Okay, so I've hit something there and it went flying, and it's a good thing I was wearing the goggles because it hit my face, which wasn't pleasant, but didn't get in the eyes. as you can see, we're down to bare metal. Did not find as much rusting and pitting. We're looking for holes that rust through, like this one right here. I don't know if you can see that. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on the back side. Alright, so you can see what we're getting into your backside is there's this sort of undercoating that I guess was put on at the factory. Could have been put on after that, and I don't know, some sort of wasp nest. That's going to take a bit longer to grind off. That may do better to chemical strip. Gonna have a trouble getting our little cup grinder down into this crevice here, so I will oh, look at that, it's just peeling right off, isn't it? Well, anyway, so I'm going to work on that for a bit, and I'll show you the finished product. Usually I like to try to carry out this sort of work outside because of the dust and the fumes and that sort of thing, but it's been raining off and on all afternoon, and it actually just finished raining, so that's why we're working in here. Now the cup will tend to catch and grab edges, so you want to be careful of that. You don't want to rip it out of your hand. Keep track of where your hand's going, because if it jerks you, you don't want to go, you know, kind of into something like that. So be cognizant of what you're doing. Another word of caution there. If you're doing this in the garage, try not to aim the bits towards anything flammable, like a gasoline can or your spray paint collection, or I don't know, oil-soaked rags. If you have a truck that you care about, which I don't have in the garage, well, I do care, but if you have a paint job you care about, don't aim it at that, and don't aim it at the washer and dryer, because that tends to tick off the wife. Using your body as a shield, not a good idea either. So I've got that cleaned down to bare metal. Looks like I got a little bit of rust kind of occurring right there. So as it turns out, this isn't, I was expecting all of this metal to be pretty thin and weak, but as it turns out, once we got past all this crudola, it really isn't too bad, so we shouldn't have to cut back too far to weld on our patch panel. We got a hole all the way through there. This bottom side's kind of, you know, needs a little bit of effort there, though. From the back, you can see that I've got off some of that undercoating, but there's a bit more, and I'm going to have to use a different wheel to get to that. What I'm using here is a self-etching primer over all the bare metal. If you just spray ordinary spray paint or primer on it, it won't stick, but the self-etching has a bit of an acid quality to it that will kind of work its way down into the metal, so it has a really tight bond. You can use the stuff out of the spray can. A lot of the shops do that, so it's okay. Usually you don't have any sort of compatibility issues later with a with a self-etching primer. So that's what we're going to use. Actually, it's got, you know, that paint fume quality to it, so make sure you're in a well ventilated area. Also, I would go ahead and invest the money in one of these more expensive filters here. I mean, you know, yeah, they're a little bit more money. You could get away with like the cheap paper ones, but those don't really work all that well, especially not against fumes. I mean, you know, the dust, they don't work well against that either. Get yourself one of these. It's worth not messing up your lungs. Okay, so here's what we've got. We've got this primed, protected, it won't draw any moisture either. I mean, I'm sure we've got a little bit of rust that's still hiding underneath here, but we're going to be taking this back down to bare metal anyway when we go to weld our panel on. Any rust down here I don't really care about because it's, going away. Take a look at it from in here. So inside we're sprayed up, we're protected, and again, well, I haven't quite gotten up into that segment there. I need to flip this thing over, use a different wheel, but we'll be ready to continue with that next time. So that's pretty much it for today. That's a good start. Alright, so that's a good start to our video log. Hopefully next time I'll have, a few more friends over to help me out. We can get a little bit more work done, but until next time, thanks for watching.